Ever since we were teased with that little bit of berserker rage in X-Men 2 way back when, we always kind of hoped that we would get that kind of X-Men film, and for whatever reason, throughout the years, we kind of just didn't. We got some decent X-Men films overall, but I think most people agreed that we never quite got the Wolverine that we wanted. That all changes here. If this is truly to be Hugh Jackman's last outing as Logan, then what a way to go out. This film is fantastic, and not just in the action stakes, not just in the Wolverine berserker rage kind of moments, but the character, the depth of character in this film is absolutely spot on. James Mangold returns as director after helming The Wolverine, which I think is actually a pretty decent X-Men film, one of the better ones I would say, but somewhat lacking in the final act. This film, not so. It gets every little bit just right, for my money personally. We get Professor Xavier returning as a very old version of himself, he's on his last legs, his mind's pretty much going, a bit of senile dementia's creeping in. And I gotta say, I love Patrick Stewart's performance here. I like that this film plays as a family drama. You know, you've got Xavier, kind of like the surrogate father to Wolverine, and then you have this young girl, Laura, coming in, who has the same powers as Wolverine and may just be his daughter. I like that family dynamic. I like that we get those three different generations, and I like that we kind of deal with this onset of Alzheimer's, if you know, for want of a better term. It's never truly stated what condition it is that Xavier has, but it's something that I'm sure a lot of viewers can relate to. But before anybody gets afraid that this film is just simply going to throw out all the action stuff and become some kind of strange family psychodrama, believe me, the action is there in spades. Some really great kick-ass action scenes in this. There's a car chase in this, and at one moment this car kind of goes through a gate, or tries to go through a gate, and fails. It kind of tears the gate down and gets stuck, and then the gate kind of sticks to the car and Wolverine ends up using it as a weapon. But I liked that moment. I liked the fact that actually they don't just get to drive through the gate, which you would normally see in most kind of action films. Admittedly, they use that as a tool to kind of up the action ante in that scene, but I like it. I like the way it plays. Newcomer Daphne Keane is fantastic as Laura. I love the relationship that builds throughout the film between her and Logan. You know, Logan suddenly finds that he's got this, well, daughter, you know, whether it's by natural birth or experimentation or whatever. The fact of the matter is he now has this girl who he is responsible for, and it doesn't really sit too well with him. You know, he's never been much of a team player at the best of times, so now to have this level of responsibility really gets to him. But I like seeing how that dynamic plays out. It's very touching at times, and I gotta say, the final scene in this film, the final shot in fact, made me tear up. Looking back at what Hugh Jackman has given us with this character over the years, this feels like a bit of a fond farewell. And it's very touching, I must say, those final moments. Eric LaSalle from ER fame, anyone who's a fan of the TV show ER will know him from that. He is in this film as this man that they come across at one point in the film. They come across his family, they kind of help his family, and in turn his family invite him over. They give him dinner, and I like those scenes a lot. I'm really touched by those scenes, and particularly the response to this family by Charles Xavier. I just like that interplay. I like that we get to see how this family, this really decent family, kind of connects with each other, how they work and integrate with each other, and how that rubs off on this new kind of family that has kind of just been forced into being with the result of this girl Laura coming into the midst. Because of that family element, the film to me plays as a tale about mortality and how we all leave a legacy behind us, and what legacy are we going to leave through our kids and through the people we touch in our everyday lives. It's a really great film, really great drama, really great action film, really great comic book movie. one of the best X-Men films. Probably one of my top 2 X-Men films, to be honest. Yeah, I urge everyone to go and see this. At the moment, I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5. There are some story elements in it that I've seen elsewhere. You know, we've all seen that thing where your group of people, your group of heroes have to get to a particular location, which is a safe haven. You know, I've seen it in a number of films, like Resident Evil Extinction, for crying out loud, did it. It's a bit of a trope that is getting a bit overused these days. Stuff like that kind of lets it down a little bit, but it's very minor stuff, because the character stuff that kind of goes into it, that is built around that, more than makes up for it. So yeah, at the moment, 4.5 out of 5 from me. But what about you? Have you seen this film, and what did you think about it? Comment below, let me know, and until next time, thanks for watching.